What is good, YouTube family? Glad to have y'all back. The weigh-ins for ARNOLD versus Costa just ended. Everybody looked pretty good on the scale, and we have some exciting fights to go over. Today, we'll be going over the weigh-in recap, final predictions, as well as the best bet for each fight. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get this shit started. For the first fight of the night, we have Shauna Bannon versus Cagliari, and I've been on Cagliari all week. I feel like here she'll be able to apply the pressure, push forward, and possibly hurt Bannon. Cagliari will be the aggressor here. She'll be the one pushing forward. Shannon's going to try to keep the distance and try to pick her apart from the outside. But in the apex cage, that's going to be hard for her. And you'll see on the scale here, Cagliari is the way stronger girl. She's coming down in weight. She's facing a smaller opponent compared to her last with way less power in her punches and kicks. And here, Cagliari, I feel like she's not going to be respecting the power coming from Bannon at all. Once it's down to the ground, I feel like Cagliari will definitely have the advantages. She'll be able to, get some ground and pound off and even get a submission possibly. Cagliari at strawweight has all her wins by finish. So definitely when it goes down to strawweight, she's a way stronger opponent than she is versus at 125, where the girls are way bigger and way stronger. First up, we have Shauna Bannon at the scales. She looks pretty decent. Looks like she's in shape. Looks like she definitely trains. But nothing really crazy or anything really pops out. She looks kind of regular. And man, Cagliari looks in phenomenal shape. She looks like she's been fucking bench pressing all night and all day, eating nuts and bolts for breakfast. This girl looks shredded as fuck. Here at the face-offs, they were in each other's face. None of them wanted to back down. Cagliari clearly has the strength advantage, as you can see in their arms and see in the back there. But yeah, I'm definitely here picking Cagliari. I feel like with her strength, she'll be able to get it down to the ground where she wants it, and she'll be able to implement her game plan with smothering Bannon and possibly even getting her out of there. Now, in my opinion, for this fight, this will be the best bet. I feel like Cagliari can get it done, whether it's by finish or even the decision. So that's why the money line would be, my favorite bet here, because I really don't know which side to choose. I feel like for sure she'll be able to get it done however she wants it. As long as she goes in there and does what she's supposed to do, she can get it done. Not all bets are guaranteed. And, this is a women's fight, but I definitely feel like Cagliari gets it done. And next up, we have Barres versus Gurule. And here, I'm on Gurule. Earlier in this week, Gurule was the underdog, and money's starting to come in on him, and I see why. It's the same thing with Cagliari. Just like I mentioned earlier, this is another guy I feel like he'll be able to use some smothering pressure here. I know here on the feet, Barres is going to be the more quicker guy, want to throw more combinations and put more output here. But I feel like in this apex gauge, Gurule will be able to implement his wrestling, his grappling. He'll be able to smother him, slow him down. And here, I feel like he can get like a decision or possibly even get a submission. And Barres at 37 looks pretty good on the scale. He came in pretty shredded, looks ready to go. He's been off for a while, so I'm, looking to see if he made some new improvements here. Maybe while he was gone, he was working on his submission defense and his takedown defense and things like that. But here, I feel like even if he works on it, you can't cheat to old dog new tricks. That's going to be his weakness, and I feel like Gurule will be able to take over with that. Now, here's Gurule on the scale. He looked good as well. Looks like he's ready to go for this fight. I definitely see he has the wider shoulders, so I feel like here he'll be able to be more stronger whenever it comes down to pushing him against the cage and getting him down to the ground. Here at the face-off, Gurule did look like a little bit of the shorter guy, but I feel like in this matchup, that'll definitely favor him. Barres will swing some hooks, and he'll be able to duck under them and get either like some body clinch or something like that, or he'll be able to take him down and get him to the ground to where he'll be able to slow Barres down and take over in the later rounds for sure. Now, for this fight, I decided to go with this fight to go the distance, and here's why. I honestly don't feel like either guy's going to knock each other out. I do feel like Gurule has a sub threat here, but he's never attempted a submission in the UFC yet. So both those facts lead me to going towards the distance for this fight. In my opinion, I feel like this is a lower level Alden Korea fight for Louris Gurule. And he was able to go to distance with him, and he's way more powerful of a puncher, I would say, and more skilled. So in my personal opinion, this fight goes the distance. And the battle of the OnlyFans is getting started. We have Alice Arderlin versus Poliana Viana. And call me crazy, but I'm on Viana this week. Guys, she's younger, taller, 5-inch longer reach, has faced way better competition. Does the public forget that Alice Arderlin lost a split decision with Shauna Bannon and then lost to Melissa Martinez? This is an equal levels fight. If not, Poliana has fought way better competition and has beat better competition. I mean, JJ Aldridge, Tabitha Ritchie, Yasmin Lucindo, Jillian Robinson, Jacqueline Emerin. All respect to Alice Otterly, I really like her as a fighter, but those girls mopped the floor with her. So it's hard for me to really justify her being a minus 200 favorite here. They both have similar records. If not, Polyana has the better record. And we can't even use the OnlyFans argument here because they both are on OnlyFans. They're both posting. So in my opinion here, the value 100% is on the dog. Even if Alice Otterly wins, then I still feel like Viana has the value, especially at this price tag. At least Otterly looked pretty good on the scale. She looks like she's pretty ready, looks in shape. I do got her on Instagram, I ain't gonna lie. So I seen her out of camp and I seen her on camp. And for camp, you know, she locks in, she gets her body right. So definitely respect to her. Polyana looks pretty good too. She came in pretty shredded, looking ready for this fight. Looks like she's ready to play no games. Polyana was looking straight into her soul, and Alice Otterly was trying to start a conversation, smiling a little bit. You know, she looks kind of nervous, but hey, you know, she's a fighter, so I know she's not nervous to get in that cage and go at it. I feel like this is an underestimated fight on this card. Now, here's the best bet for this fight. I'm going Viana by finish only. Viana has never won a decision throughout her career. Not saying that she can't win a decision here, but if she does, the bet gets voided. I feel like Alice Otterly's path to victory here is going to be by a decision because I don't feel like she's a skilled enough fighter to get a finish here. So if she wins by decision, the bet voids as well. The way this cashes is by Viana getting a finish, and I feel like she can definitely get it done. She could either get a knockout or a submission because that's her threat and that's her way of victory. Now, I'm not confident at all in Viana getting the finish, so if she doesn't, that's why I like the finish only prop versus by finish. Interesting fight. Next up, we have Andre Petroski versus Cody Brundage. In my early prediction video, I did go with Brundage, and I do want him to win. I would love to see Cody Brundage win, but for the official pick, I have to go with Andre Petroski. This is kind of similar to me like last week, like kind of like Pat Sabatini and Sean Brady, where they were both facing strikers that want to primarily keep it on the feet. And even though they're not the most damaging guys, they're still good at getting it to the ground or at least getting some control. I personally feel like in this fight, Petroski will use his strength to push Cody against the cage. Cody really can't be trusted. He has a low IQ. I was watching that Dante Johnson fight back and looking at it, and Cody just makes some very stupid mistakes. I like Dante Johnson, but he is not at all skilled on the ground. What I like is that Petroski's camp has gone in there and has faced guys who are power strikers who are going to try to take them out and focusing on getting a lot of control time in the cage. And Cody's original camp, they struggle against grapplers and guys who try to take them down and smother them. The reason why a lot of people are picking Brundage, and I definitely understand it, you know, he has the KO power. Andre Petroski hasn't shown to be that durable. But Cody Brundage isn't an elite striker, and he's not a precise. Nor does he have the best IQ when it comes down to fighting. If Petroski listens to his corner, I feel like here he can definitely get it done. He'll be able to go under the winging shots of Cody Brundage, get a takedown, and get some control time, or he'll win a decision, honestly, I think. The only thing that concerns me about that is this is Vegas, and they do not at all like the lay and pray guys. Andre Petroski looks pretty impressive on the scale. He looks ready to go, and he looks pretty locked in. I'm wondering if he'll be able to use that strength against Brundage in this fight. Brundage looks pretty regular on the scale, looks to be in good shape and ready for this fight, has some visible abs there, so yeah, he also looks like he's pretty locked in. Now here's the face-off, respect between both guys. Petroski looks like the way stronger guy in this fight, but you know, you never want to underestimate. Brundage can definitely make it a gritty, dirty fight to where that will stylistically be the best for him. But I feel like Petroski definitely, you know, gets it done here and gets some grappling done in this fight. Now here, honestly, this is the best bet for this fight, in my opinion. Both guys aren't a huge submission threat. If Petroski gets it to the ground, he's more of a position over a submission guy. And I feel like here, if it gets to the ground, Cody Brundage also isn't a guy who's going to try to get the sub. In this fight, I think it's either Petroski by decision or Cody Brundage by knockout or decision. I don't see an edge where either fighter gets a submission in this fight. I know minus 325 isn't the best value, but I definitely feel like it's a good parlay piece. And here next up, we have Ketlen Vieira versus Jacqueline Cavalcanti. And for this fight, I'm going with Jacqueline. I feel like she'll be able to keep the distance here from Ketlen Vieira. Ketlen Vieira doesn't really pose too much of a KO threat, pick her apart from the outside, land some more damaging shots, and ultimately wins by a decision or even a late knockout. Now, I know the late knockout might be a little bit of a reach due to Cavalcante never really getting finishes, but Vieira has been knocked out before, and Cavalcante is putting it together. But I'm definitely not counting out cutting Vieira in this fight. She is on a win-lose streak, and, you know, she is due for a win. But this has shown in the past to be a type of fight that Ketlin loses. Now, here's Ketlin on the scale. Looks pretty excited to be there. Looks pretty ready to go. But nothing overall too impressive, honestly. Here we have Cavalcante on the scales, throwing up them threes. She has some visible abs there and looks to be in really good shape for this fight. Both fighters locked in, ready to go, and this is a fight that means a lot for this division. These girls look to be pretty much evenly matched up though, both having the same height and also the same reach. For this fight, I like Cavalcante by decision. The only thing that makes me really worry about it is that everybody and their mother's on it. But I feel like here Cavalcante definitely has the advantage in the striking. Cavalcante is more of the consistent fighter, and this prop also has cashed in 6 of her last 6 fights. She's yet to get a KO in the UFC, and maybe one day she does, but I have to just go with what she's been doing. Cavalcante by decision is the best bet in this fight, I think. Now, here's a fight I've been excited to talk about. We have Tommy Gant versus Artur Manev. As I was recording the last video, this fight got announced. I did more tape study, and I have to go with Gant here. Gant has some amazing wrestling and has some really long reach. He has the reach of some of the light heavyweights on this card. Manev is a powerful striker and looks to be a good prospect, but I've never really honestly seen him go against a wrestler like Tommy Gant. On short notice, I feel like it's going to be a tough test. Because here, Tommy Gant can pick him apart from the outside, also can close distance and get a takedown. On short notice, I feel like that's a tough test for Manev to keep up with. Manev's main thing here is that he's going to have power in his hands and he has one-shot KO power. But I feel like Gant's not going to allow him to get that off. And Manev, sometimes he can be a little bit too patient, waiting for that one-shot KO. Here's Gant on the scale. This guy looks locked in and he looks pretty ready to go. I'm excited to see what this prospect brings to the lightweight division. Now, all respects to Manev. He came in exactly at 155, even though he took this fight on short notice. Looks pretty shredded and ready to go. And this is another guy I'm excited to see what he brings to this division. Now, here's a face-off. Tommy Gant looks to be a little bit taller and also has a longer reach. He has some sneaky elbows and is dangerous on the ground. But Manev is also undefeated, has never tasted defeat, so I'm excited to see who loses their O here. All respect to Manev for taking this opportunity. In my opinion, this has to be the best bet for this fight. Tommy Gant moneyline. I feel like he can get it done by submission or a decision. He has the full camp coming into this fight. The wrestling pedigree, the reach, the slicing elbows. He can definitely cause some damage on the feet, but the ground is going to be his strongest suit here in this fight. He could be the first guy to finish Manev, or he can win a decision here. So give me Tommy Gant moneyline. Next up, we have Tukos Tokos versus Ivan Erslan. For this fight, I have to go with the dog Tukos Tokos. Why the hell is he the underdog? Erslan has shown to have a very weak ground game and is shown to only win by first round knockout. He has yet to get a win in the UFC, but he's the favorite here. Hasn't won a fight out of the first round since 2018. And Tokos trains with a way better guy. He's super live to get a submission after the first round. Super live to win the fight if it gets past the first round. That's why I see a ton of value on the dog here in Tukos Tokos, even though he's not a high level fighter. Here's Tokos on the scale. He was giving me some Brandon Allen vibes, but he looks to be in pretty good shape and ready for this fight. I'm not gonna lie, chat. Irvin's pretty built like a damn brick house, but man, them muscles have not at all correlated to skills. Here's the face-off. Look to be the same height. Of course, Erslan looks to be in better shape, but I feel like Tokos definitely gets this done by implementing the grappling plan here and smothering him against the cage and slowing him down. I feel like Tokos just faced this stylistic matchup recently, and I feel like here he'll be able to find the same type of success. Now, my best bet for this fight has to be Tukos Tokos moneyline. Even though he's a low-level fighter, I feel like if it gets out of the first round, there's some good value on Tukos Tokos. I feel like the only reason to play Erslan moneyline is if you think he's going to get a KO. And here, I just personally feel like he doesn't. I feel like Tokos will be prepared for this fight, knowing what's coming his way, and he'll be able to get himself going. And here we have the feature prelim of the night is Nikolai Veretennikov versus Chaos Williams. And for this fight, I'm going with Veretennikov still. I feel like he'll land more strikes in this fight. Chaos doesn't really land too many combos, and I feel like that'll work in Veritenikov's favor. Chaos also doesn't really threaten takedowns, so that also works in Veritenikov's favor. If this fight remains on the feet, I feel like Veretenikov will get more shots off in this fight, and I can definitely see him winning a decision here. Chaos has gone against some better competition and is a younger guy with a longer reach. So, I mean, I can understand why he's the favorite here in this fight. But I'm taking Veretenikov to outscore him here in this bout. Veretenikov came in looking pretty impressive. He looks sharp and ready to go for this fight against Chaos. Here's Chaos looking in pretty good shape. He was a little bit awkward here at the weigh-ins. He didn't know what type of pose to do, and at the end he ended up just putting his arms up awkwardly. Here's the face-off with Veretenikov being the taller guy. Both these guys look in really good shape and ready for this fight, and I'm excited to see this feature prelim. Here's a prop I really like for this fight. It's the over 1.5. I honestly do favor for this fight to go to decision. The books have the goes to decision at plus money, so you know that's also a good prop to take. But just to be safer, I feel like the 1.5 is pretty secure here. Both guys have shown to be pretty durable. This will be a striking fight, and I don't think any of them lands that one-shot KO on the other. But if it happens in a later round, it's okay because we took the over 1.5. Next up, we have Timmy Kawamba versus Bernardo Sopai. And I've been trying to tell people all week, I'm all over Timmy Kawamba in this fight. The height advantage, reach advantage, striking advantage, UFC experience advantage. There's a lot more pluses on the side of Timmy Kawamba than it is for Sopai. A lot of people are judging him off of a knockout loss and also a decision to Ricky Tercios. Timmy Kawamba is a really good striker. You know, he's really good at keeping the distance. I feel like here he'll be able to keep the distance from Sopai. I feel like if Sopai tries to go for like a type of takedown, I feel like Timmy Kawamba has some nasty knees right up the middle that he can threaten with. And that has shown to crumble Sopai before. And Timmy Kawamba has faced some powerful, bigger guys in this octagon, so I feel like here he'll be able to fend off Sopai. Everyone is sleeping on Timmy Kawamba as the underdog this week, but I love him in this spot. Because for me, Bernardo hasn't been impressive as everybody else is making him out to seem, and he hasn't got a finish yet in the UFC. And honestly, I think that he won't get a finish here and the fight goes the distance. When it goes the distance, I think Timmy Kawamba takes it because he's going to land more strikes, more efficient strikes, and he's also going to get some damage off on Sopai here. Now here's Timmy Kawamba. He looks pretty good on the scale and looks real ready to go. Last fight, he looked like this, and I was kind of a little worried because he looked a little sunk in, coming from 145 to 135. But that did not all matter, as last fight, he looked pretty strong in the third round. And here's Bernardo. He's supposed to be this hot finishing prospect, and in all reality, he doesn't really look too impressive on the scale. He looks pretty regular to me. Here's the face-off, pretty intense. Both guys in each other's face. Kawamba with the clear height advantage and the reach advantage. I feel like he definitely can get it done in this spot here. If he's able to dog out a fight with Bilal Gioki, I feel like he can dog out a fight with Sopai, but this time get the decision. Now here in this fight, I love Timmy Kawamba's money line. I also like the fight to go to decision, so you can take that if you're not confident in Kawamba. But here I feel like Timmy gets a decision. I also like Timmy Kawamba at plus 250 to win the fight by decision. But I feel like Timmy also has some upside to get a finish here too. So I'll just take his money line. Next up, we have Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. I feel like Bukauskas gets it done. Even though he's not trustworthy, he's fought way higher level competition. I feel like in this fight, he's going to pretty much try to play it safe. Christian Edwards is a pretty tall guy and has some pretty decent kickboxing. And people are saying he might even threaten some type of takedowns here. But in this spot, I feel like Bukauskas is ready for an opponent like Edwards. And this is a guy that he'll be able to defeat. Edwards has some pretty bad Bellator losses, and I really can't forget about that. In my opinion, Bukauskas was going to face a way more dangerous guy, and this is definitely a step down in competition versus a Bellato. And I honestly don't think Bellato's that good. Here's Bukauskas on the scale, and for coming in at catchweight, he looks pretty good. Looks pretty shredded for being at 213, and I'm sure he's ready to go. Here we have Edwards with the milk dud head. He looks pretty excited to be there. But he's not at all in the shape of Bukauskas, and I definitely understand it, you know. He's coming in on short notice, taking his fight. This fight can definitely change his life, but I feel like Bukauskas gets it done here. Now here is the face-off Bukauskas is a shorter guy with Edwards having the height advantage. But I feel like in this fight, this doesn't matter. Bukauskas, I feel like here, he's going to be able to play it smart and use his veteran savvy to win this fight. I feel like this is a good bet for this fight, for it to reach the second round. Especially in the first round, I feel like Bukauskas will come out being patient, trying to figure out the height and reach of Christian Edwards. And I also feel like Edwards won't land a big shot on Bukauskas in the first round and get him out of there. So I really like this fight to reach round 2. And here we have the featured fight of the night. It's Malcolm Wallmaker versus Juan Diaz. And for this fight, I have to go with Wallmaker. Now, I might be biased because I'm a huge fan of Wallmaker. He's made me a lot of money. I've got to see him fight live. But I also like Juan Diaz a lot. The issue here is that Juan Diaz has that give one to take one style. And that's not a good style to have against a guy like Malcolm Wallmaker. Even if this fight goes the distance, Juan Diaz is going to take some damaging shots to the head and to the body. I've seen Juan Diaz take some nasty shots. And Malcolm Wallmaker definitely has to see that, you know. He leaves some openings and likes to get hit, honestly, it looks like. And is usually able to absorb the damage and bring it back to his opponents. But here, I don't really see him being able to do that against a guy like Wallmaker. To me, Malcolm Wallmaker has 2 ways to win, either by knockout or decision. And Juan Diaz has 1 way to win, by decision. So I have to take the guy with more position, more power, and also more UFC experience. Wallmaker came on the scale looking ready to go. He looks pretty locked in. You know, I feel like a lot of things from the last fight have changed, and I feel like here in this fight is going to show some good improvements. And here's Juan Diaz looking in pretty good shape. I'm really excited to see what he brings to this division. This is going to be an exciting fight. And here's the face-off. Both guys locked in, ready to go, ready to put it all on the line and show that they're UFC level. Both these guys are really good, high talented prospects, and I'm glad the UFC chose this fight to be the featured fight of the night. Here is my best bet for this fight. I really like for this fight to reach the second round. Although Malcolm Wallmaker does have one-shot KO power, Juan Diaz has never been finished, and I ain't gonna lie, these Peruvians are pretty tough. So I'm pretty confident in this fight reaching the second round. I'm excited to see what happens in the second and third because it'll be real interesting. Next fight up, we have the co-main event. It's Doo Ho Choi versus Daniel Santos. In the beginning of this week, I did choose Doo Ho Choi, but after doing some further investigation, I have to side with Daniel Santos. I feel like in this fight, he's going to bring that pressure that Doo Ho Choi is not going to like. He is the type of guy to get hurt in the first round and then rally in the second and the third. So the first round might be a little bit sketchy, but in my opinion, Doo Ho Choi is coming back from injury. He's had long layoffs. He's the older guy. There's a lot of disadvantages for him in this fight. And before he fought with Bill Algeo and beat him and fought Nate Landwehr, he honestly wasn't in a good point in his career. Before he fought Nelson, he lost 2 fights in a row by knockout. This fight was supposed to happen in September. He pulled out due to injury. He just wasted a lot of the time, the good time in his career for MMA on different things, and I definitely understand it. You know, he had to face the military and do what he had to do. When he came back, had to make some adjustments. Now he's dealing with injuries. So it's a lot. And it's understandable as a fighter. You know, you take a lot of risk whenever you're fighting in that cage. But I feel like coming into this fight less active, off of an injury, years away from the game, a Willie Cat is not a guy that you want to come back to. He has that will to win, and he's also dangerous on the feet and on the ground. And like I said, yes, he did have 2 impressive finishes, but they honestly haven't aged well at all. And Willie Cat's going to make it a dirty fight, and he's not going to quit. He's not going to quit on himself like Doo Ho Choi's last 2 opponents. And Willie Cat made weight and looked great on the scale. It made me more confident in this pick. But Doo Ho Choi did look pretty impressive. Like I said, here's Doo Ho Choi looking pretty impressive on the scale. He looks shredded and super ready to go. I know that he was saying on his YouTube, he was saying that he's kind of taking this fight a little personal because Willie Cat's known as like the Korean Slayer, and he doesn't like that name, so he's trying to take it away from him. So I think he's definitely locked in, and he's gonna put his best in to try to win this fight. Now look at Willie Cat. He looks pretty impressive on the scale. He has some visible abs, doesn't have the dad bod anymore, and he looks like he's super ready to go and excited. He looks super in shape compared to his last couple of fights, so he's definitely ready to go. And I think that honestly in this fight, it's a favorable matchup for him in the position that Doo Ho Choi currently is in. I will admit, in the side-by-side, Doo Ho Choi looks pretty impressive, and so does Santos too. I really like Do Ho Choi, and it'll be really nice for him to pull it off here. But I am just worried about the knee injury, inactivity, getting older, having some favorable matchups in his last two bouts, so not really being tested too much. Yeah, man, it makes me worry, and that's why I picked Santos. Now, for this fight, my best bet is going to be Daniel Santos' money line. I personally feel like he can get it done by decision, by knockout, or even by a sneaky submission. He's crafty on the feet and on the ground as well. He does often attack kicks to the leg. And here, unfortunately, I feel like he's able to capitalize on the injury and slice some crazy kicks to that leg that's injured. All right, y'all, and here's the main event of the evening. Make sure you like and comment on the video if you haven't, and also subscribe. We have Allen versus Costa here. Here I've been flopping back and forth all week on this fight, trying to get my final pick, and officially, I'm going with Costa. Costa here will have the height advantage, reach advantage, is a younger guy, and actually has more fights on his belt than Allen. Allen 100% has faced higher competition. But every single fight is a different fight. Allen's coming off of a loss and also a layoff. I feel like the confidence is 100% on the side of Costa currently. One thing I noticed while doing some tape study for this fight is that Allen does a lot of lateral movement from side to side, and I feel like that'll be favorable for Costa, especially with the kicks and the spinning attacks. I also don't like how Allen is a slow starter. He takes some time to adjust, and sometimes he waits a little bit long to start. And a lot of people are on the fact that, oh, Costa's never been 5 rounds, but they never talk about how Allen's only been 5 rounds one time. And that one time was over 3 years ago. So honestly, Allen doesn't even have an advantage there. Now, don't get me wrong. Allen is definitely a tough test for Costa. He's going to be the hardest opponent that he's faced in a while. Or maybe even ever. But one thing that I think matters in this fight is the confidence of Costa currently in the run that he's on. Allen coming off an injury and coming off of losses, I feel like his confidence isn't there as much as Costa's is. And I feel like that kind of leads him into doing the same thing. Starting off slow, waiting a little late to start. And I feel Costa would definitely be able to take advantage of that in the beginning of the fight. And y'all might get on me for pick flipping here. I might be wrong at the end. Allen might look like a minus 1,000. We never know. But in this fight, I'm going with Costa. Now, here's one side of the main event. We have Allen on the scale looking pretty ready. He looks real good. So, definitely locked in for this fight for sure. And, yeah, he's going to give Costa a tough test for sure. And here's Costa. I must admit, not as impressive as Allen on the scale. He is waving to the crowd, looks to be in good spirit and in good shape. But this isn't the battle of the physiques. This is MMA, and I feel like he has the skills to be able to get it done against Allen. As an OG fan of the UFC, it'll be great to see Allen back on the win column and get a W here. I just feel like Costa is currently on a hot streak, and currently I feel like right now this is a great matchup for him and Allen to get a good spot in the UFC. Pretty respectable face-off between the two, and both guys are super ready to put on a show and show what they're worth in this division. And for the main event, we're going with the savage underdog in Costa. I feel like he can get it done in multiple ways here in this fight. So I decided to just take the money line here. And that's going to be the best bet for this last fight. Thank y'all for pulling up on me. I really appreciate the love and support. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video. And I really hope y'all enjoy the fights. We'll be back for the recap of the event.